Hello, all, and welcome back to the Making Fire podcast. This is a podcast where two longtime besties talk about our favorite show, Survivor. Today is Thanksgiving, so I thought I'd ask, Maddie, what are you thankful for this year?
I am thankful for our fans who sent us our package of items. I'm wearing my buff because I got it in the mail this week. And I'm thankful for good weather. It is still sunny here. It has been, I live in a cold state, but it has been in the like mid 60s for weeks and sunny and beautiful. And I know the snow is coming, but I'm just soaking up the light right now. And we're filming, or we're recording this not at like 10 o'clock at night my time. So it is bright in here. I feel fresh. That is what I'm thankful for this week. What are you thankful for?
I am thankful for nature-made vitamin C gummies. I am thankful for Costco chocolate chip muffins.
Are you just looking around the room?
I am. I'm thankful for my hydro flask. Just a lot of things that like I prioritize for like myself, you know?
Yeah. Costco muffins and vitamin C gummies.
Okay, no, but these vitamin C gummies, not sponsored.
Yet.
Yet. These vitamin C gummies are so good.
Nature made, reach out.
Sometimes I just snack on them. I don't know if that's good or not, but...
How many are you supposed to have a day? Like 3? 2?
I think 2. I don't know. I take 2 a day.
I was going to say, how many do you take a day?
Suggested use. Adults chew 2 gummies daily. But sometimes I'm just like, I want like a little like orange snack.
No, I feel that. Like at the end of the day,
yeah,
if I remember, it's like a little palate
that.
cleanser.
Yeah, there's like sugar on them. It's so good.
It's like a little treat.
Okay, well before we get into Survivor 45 coverage, I'd like to disclaimer that I am, as you can probably tell, I'm in a different place. This is my home. I am home for Thanksgiving. Today is Thanksgiving, and I have a different setup, and my internet here is infamously really bad. Like Maddie can attest to this. I cannot. Whenever I'm home, I can't text Maddie from my phone because I don't have service. So, we are gonna work with what we have. If I cut out, I cut out, and I'm so super sorry. But that's just the reality of the situation, y'all, and we have to live with what we live with. But the camera quality is so much better. I might have to record. This is my little Surface Pro. I might have to record from this every time now.
No, I think you should. It looks really good this week. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Maddie, do you have any disclaimers?
No.
Okay. I like your buff.
Thank you. I also love it. It's so comfy. I've never like touched one in real life before. Like I wasn't sure exactly what like material it would feel made out of.
Yeah. It's a nice little stretchy.
But I also feel like if I had to wear this every single day, I'd get a little annoyed with it.
I'd get a little overstimulated, I feel like, especially if you're wearing it like that. Like it's too thick for the neck.
Yeah, no, it's like fine right now, like for an hour and a half or so, but like I think I would probably wear it as a headband because I'd be self-conscious about how gross my hair would be on the island. But like I even put it on my wrist. I'm like, it's a little too much fabric.
No, it is. It's on your wrist. It's a little too much. On your neck, it's a little too much. I feel like, but then it's like on your head all the time, and I'm like, that might overstimulate me too. Maybe I just don't wear it, or wear it as a little top.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, let's get into the episode. We're starting off. We're spending a lot of time post Kelly talking about Kelly. I feel like Kelly comes up a lot this episode, specifically in this post tribal, and
it's
then
like
even
she
at
never
the next
left.
tribal. No, it is truly like she never left. Her impact stayed. She's getting more screen time now than she was before.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm like, they are upset. I didn't know Kelly had such a big fan base.
I know.
They love her. Good for her, I guess. Kendra is really emotional about it. We start off the first scene of the episode is Kendra sitting on the beach just by herself. It was like, this one's for you, Cal.
Yeah, she held up her like drink container, what canteen or whatever, and goes, "Cheers, Kel." I wrote, "This girl is being so dramatic. Kelly's not dead."
No, I'm like, you'll literally see her in 24. Like, you'll see her tomorrow night. Like, she'll be there in a cute little dress. Like, you'll be fine. Spoiler alert, you're gonna be seeing a lot more of her too, Kendra. So
Yeah.
it's okay. Um, yeah, I was like, this is a little much. I we then get the core. I'm gonna start calling them the core four. I think this is the first time we heard them call themselves that.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of like the core four, the D, Drew, Julie, and Austin group. I kind of like that name for
That's a
them.
good
The core
nickname.
four is working to turn Bruce against Kelly, which works insanely well to the point where Bruce starts having like a legitimate existential crisis about it. I was like, this is a lot of emotions. We had Kendra crying on the beach. We had Bruce having a breakdown.
I
I was
can't.
like, this is the fallout from this vote is crazy.
It was so funny. I definitely like took a couple notes on just this Bruce drama. I loved when he was so mad at Jake for his when Jake was like, "Oh," when Kelly got voted out and was like, "Oh, sorry." Oh. And all of his excitement over just like not getting voted out. Bruce was so mad at him over that. And I just thought it was so funny and just not that deep. Like, Jake thought he was going to go home.
No.
Get over it. It wasn't your
So I
name.
was,
You don't know how
yeah,
it feels to like barely
that,
survive.
yeah, that's what I wrote too. I was like, Bruce is in his feelings, which are, I guess it's valid. Like, I guess Bruce can feel his feelings, whatever. Um, but as soon as Jake starts feeling his feelings, which is a different feeling than what you're feeling, that's not okay.
Hmm.
I'm like, Jake can't be happy just because you're a morning. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And I also just loved when Bruce is like, after this game, I'm going to go home and I'm going to ask my wife and daughter if I'm overbearing. And if my daughter says I'm overbearing, I'm going to have to change some things or whatever. But he's so just like taking this so personally. And it's so
No,
funny.
personally, from Kelly, somebody you've only known for 18 days at this point, you're
Yeah.
you're 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 having a whole crisis because this friend that you made, which totally valid, he's acting like it came out of nowhere. I think Drew. I don't want to give Drew praise, but I think Drew puts it really good at some point. Some point in this episode, he's like, Bruce has been playing an imaginary game of Survivor
Yes.
where he has not had to confront any of the consequences of the actions he's made, right? He hasn't really had to confront them yet. And I think it's Caleb on the jury later, much later in the episode at the tribal whispers to Kelly and is like, Bruce's been safe like 16 out of 17 days.
Hmm.
Like, Bruce really has not. That's the problem with being safe, is you really don't have to confront any of the problems, because with you being safe, there's kind of like a non-reality that comes with being safe. Like, nobody really is gonna like put faith in you because they don't really know where you're at. You haven't really had to like do anything extreme, and so our Drew puts it really well. Bruce has been playing an imaginary game of Survivor, and now he's realizing that there's like, oh my god, there's other people out here that are self-interested. It's not just me.
Yeah.
There's
Like
other
Kelly
people
was
that are doing
actually,
things for themselves.
yeah, Kelly was playing her own game.
Doc,
Crazy. How dare
uh,
she, actually?
how dare she actually? And that really hurts my feelings because we were best friends. Bruce, buddy, I hate to break it to you, you were not best friends.
No. No, it's the
Um,
TikTok audio. I might be your best friend.
literally, I think I'm your best friend.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's crazy. I'm like, you're kind of like, not to be, but you are a grown man.
Yeah.
Get it? Like, get a grip on reality a little bit. There's something. What's that? There's like another TikTok trend about like men finally realizing that other people around them have emotions. Like other people, like, I don't know. It's like a trend of like something happens in men's lives, and they're like, oh my god, like other people around me have feelings.
I don't
That
know
was
that one.
Bruce. Oh, well, I'm probably not describing it well, but Bruce is finally realizing that people around him have their own lives, and he's like, "Oh wow, that's crazy."
Yeah.
Um,
He doesn't want to be perceived.
yeah. Uh, we get to other reactions. So like Kendra was like obviously not was is very sad about the Kelly vote, but she also has like a little self like a moment of like okay self interest. Kendra's like okay it's probably good for my game that Kelly's gone because I probably never would have voted her out and she probably would have beat me at the end. So it's good that she's not here for that. And like she doesn't have to deal with that fact anymore. Um yeah. I'm good that game moves are happening. I guess good for Kendra. Other things like that are talked about in this post period, we see Katora sort of flipping on the Bello people.
I just
First of
had a
all,
I
no
just
go.
had a thought. I am just now like kind of processing the Kendra Kelly thing, and I feel like that's another really one-sided thing. Because I remember Kendra definitely being like, I love Kelly. Kelly's my number one. Kelly, 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 Kelly. But I don't feel
hmm
like Kelly necessarily thought of Kendra the same way at all.
I think I mean we saw this really since the beginning of Bello. Like the sixth split was definitely Jake and the original split was like a Jake and Bruce Katura and Kendra, and then a Brando and Kelly. And I think something that we probably wasn't really developed was Kelly's game was probably really hurt by the fact that Brando got voted out so early, and she probably had a hard time. These people saw her as a number one ally, but then she didn't really see anybody as a number one ally. She
Mm-hmm.
said, "I'm your best friend.
Yeah.
You're, you're not my best friend." And so I think that probably was a detriment for Kelly. But I think you're right. I think that was part of Kelly's game was that she wanted people to really like her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but because of that, like she didn't really have anybody she could fully 100% trust.
Mm-mm. Even though it seems like they both 100% trusted her.
Which is interesting, yeah. Um, Katura is flipping on the Bello tribe. She is like, I'm at the bottom of Bellows. I might as well jump ship. She's going to the Rebas and telling them information. I also, they got their like, it must have just started. The raining season must have just started this episode because you could see their change. They all got like warm clothes at some point. Like Bruce was wearing like a really nice quarter zip, and Katura fully had like a brown pantsuit on. I was like, we have not seen these clothes at all, but I'm kind of living for them. And his clothes look clean too, and I was like, oh, I bet that feels so nice being in clean clothes.
Are they not? Do they get clothes like at a certain point? Assumed they would just have everything in their bag and like be wearing it the whole time.
Maybe they do. I think I just assumed that the producers would probably hold the clothes until it's needed. Like I would assume well, I would assume it that as soon as it starts getting colder, that's when they give the clothes. But maybe they just hold on to the clothes all the time in their bags. Maybe you're right. I'm not sure
And they just like save it. Yeah. It wasn't
until they
like
need
that
it.
in the like previous era, right? They just like wore the like tiny amount of clothes they
Same
had.
clothes. Yeah. I think in the new era, they've definitely given more options clothing wise because uh I mean you obviously you want the elements to play an effect, but when everybody's cold and hungry and tired, I think I forget what season. Maybe it's Redemption. Nicaragua had it really bad, but there gets to a point where near the end of the game that everybody is just so exhausted um, that it's hard to watch as a viewer if they're so physically
Suffering.
suffering because they don't want to like players aren't going to want to like leave camp to talk game because they just don't have the energy to do it. They're not going to want to like do all these things. I think it helps that it's a shorter game now in the new era. But I think it's also good to have like clothes because then at least like you can still be tired and hungry, but at least they can give them a little bit of warmth maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. um
Maybe production should like dirty him up a little.
Yeah,
Continuity.
close. Yeah, they care so much about continuity. Um, we learn that. Well, I guess we don't learn because the audience like understands. But Austin now has two idols because Kelly and Jemiah have been voted out, which is crazy. I don't feel like in this new era, people with multiple advantages tend to do well. I feel like sometimes they either get power hungry or they get a little tunnel vision. Um, but I feel like Austin might be in a good spot. So
Yeah. I am surprised because in the very opening intro thing, we do get some like flashbacks to the whole sandwich thing and Austin having the two idols and then also someone else getting an idol. I don't remember who it was, but I thought that would be like foreshadowing to something bigger in the
mm,
episode. I thought someone was going to play an idol. And like maybe they're just
yeah. Oh
trying to
my
like
God, how bad that I wanted Julie to play an idol. I wanted Julie to play Austin's idol
yes. No,
so
but that's what
bad.
I thought was going to happen. So I was kind of disappointed when I was like, what was really the point of showing those like
I
little
feel
flashbacks?
if maybe Julie won't give Austin back the idol and something will come into play later. But I genuinely was feeling with the way the storyline the episode was going. Obviously, we'll get to it later. I had a feeling that Julie was going to be fed up with D and
Oh, I
was going to
wanted it.
get like fed up with D, get the votes against D, play the idol on Kendra, and
Yeah.
then D out. And then Julie kind of would have been on the top, at least with the other people. Because you kind of like the Bellows are crack. Not, yeah, the original Bellows is just a crack down the middle. Like Jake is sort of by himself at this point. Katora is by herself at this point. Now Bruce, because Kendra's gone, Bruce is just kind of by himself at this point, and Emily's by herself. That's four people that, like, realistically they could work together, but like I feel like Julie could easily get like a ragtag team of
Well,
like
we saw Bruce and Julie talking quite a bit, being the two older
yes,
folks, and they keep
mm-hmm,
lasting the longest in the challenges. There was that whole moment at camp where Bruce was like, I'm going to take a break today. And Julie's like, yeah, me too. And they were just sitting hanging out. I totally feel like she could come up with her own little alliance.
yeah. I think that this is something she'll have to do. I've talked about this throughout the whole season, but it's really hard for mothers. It's harder for older women in Survivor to not get the bottom end of the stick, especially when they're in alliance with strong younger people, especially strong younger men. People are just going to naturally assume that the Drews and the Austins are going to be the ones that are making the decisions, and Julie is just like an afterthought. When in reality, I feel like Julie's bringing a lot of. I mean, I would argue that Austin is probably the head of this alliance, but I feel like Julie is bringing good social awareness to the alliance. I think she's bringing good physical, obviously, because she is continuously like performing well in these challenges. She's bringing good. Like she's not just a number. She's definitely adding to this alliance, and I feel like for her game in the long run, it would be good for her to jump ship and show that she has self-interest and that she's willing to do what she needs to do for her to
Could
win.
you?
I think that.
Oh, you can keep going.
No, go. You're good.
Could you imagine? I just got really excited about this thought. If Julie formed an alliance with the ragtag group and got Austin out, like with
It
his
would be
idol,
so good.
it would she would have such a good winner like story
Story.
that she could tell and be like, I stuck with these people. I trusted them, I worked with them, but I knew for my own game I needed to get Austin out because he's the one that was running everything. He had these advantages. He's told me everything. I knew it and I worked against him to get him out. She
So
would win.
juicy.
She
She
would
would
win.
so juicy. And Austin is kind of the glue holding everything together. Like Austin's the one that brings Emily in. Austin's the
Mhm.
one that's bringing Dee in. Austin is the one that's keeping Drew, and like he is kind of the pin in it. If you take him out, it's suddenly everybody scrambling to figure out what's next. And
Because
I she's a lawyer. Like I feel like she has the brain power to do something like that. It's just about the timing is going to be a big one because she has to do it when it's late enough that there aren't major repercussions, like people can't actively plan against her, but she
mhm.
has to do it soon enough that Austin can't just like comp out. or like something happened. So I don't know, but
Or play the idols and he's in the game till, the end. I
I think it's crazy that Dee and Drew and Julie know that he has two
and
idols.
they're just okay with it.
It's insane. I would, even if he's my closest ally, I would never want to keep somebody at the final 8 now with two idols in the game. He just needs to get two more votes. He just needs to get to the final 6, and then he's safe at 6, safe at 5, and suddenly Austin's in the final 4.
I also think, I mean, obviously we're not on the beach, but I think they're giving Dee a lot of credit when
Yeah.
it's Austin. I
Yeah.
think Dee is an easier target than Austin, especially because everyone knows, or like, at least in the core 4, they know Dee doesn't have idols. But I think it would be, like, Julie and Dee seem close enough that, like, if Julie were to orchestrate this, like, I don't know, I just don't think it would be that bad. I think Dee would still be willing to work with Julie more than, like, Austin and Drew, just the three of them. Like, I don't know. I just think Austin is such a perfect target for Julie, and I really want her to do it.
I think it could be good. I hope that things like that manifest. Like
I'm manifesting it.
I'm manifesting it. I mean, I've been very happy with the cast, and I think the votes have been very, like, I don't think they've been predictable. No, I don't think they've been predictable. I mean, I guess Caleb was kind of predictable. Kendra and Kelly, I feel like, kind of came out of nowhere. Um,
Kendra was a random vote to me.
yeah, it feels like they kind of just were. I understand why Dee was pushing for Kendra because Kendra was saying Dee's name, but it just, I'm having a hard time seeing like a pure 100% winner at it. Like I feel like people are having good things are happening for people. Um, but I can't see somebody that's gonna like 100% pull it out at the end yet.
Yeah, I think another thing with Dee is that I struggle with kind of enjoying her strategy because it seems like less of a
Mm,
strategy and more of a, oh, she said my name, she's done.
yeah,
Like, I don't think there's much thought going into it behind that. Like, do you really think Kendra, I feel like Kendra is such a, like, easy
non-variable.
sway.
Yes,
Like,
I was.
she
Yeah,
just wants to stay in the game. I don't think Kendra was at
yes.
all, like, intentionally gunning for
Trolling
people.
anything.
No, she
Yes.
wasn't, and she knew that, and that's why she needed Julie to work with her. She needed
Yes.
people, and she couldn't do it in the end. So I just don't see I didn't see Kendra as a threat to take out, like, or Jake, to be honest. Like,
I agree, and I 100% with what you're saying. Like Kendra was very clearly. It was shown multiple times throughout this episode. Kendra was just trying to survive. She literally was like, she put Dee's name out there at the sanctuary and realized Dee was not getting any traction, and she was like, I'll do Jake if I have to do Jake. She
yeah,
didn't want Dee because Dee is Dee, right? Like she was just throwing a name out there because a name could be thrown out there. And
yeah.
Kendra has no backbone is not the word I want to use. She has no like persuade. Nobody is gonna do anything Kendra says.
No,
We obviously see it. Kendra went up to multiple people multiple times and tried to get Dee's name out there, and it never stuck. Never stuck. So why, Dee, are you pushing so hard to get Kendra out when she is such a non-variable in this game? Kendra isn't gonna get anything. Maybe some challenge win, but if that like
that doesn't mean she's gonna win the whole game because she's like
exactly.
sort of okay at challenges. Like,
Yeah.
I just, yeah, I get frustrated when I see plays like that where it's like she said my name, she's done. It's like a I mean, Jam Jam won, but like
Yeah.
Jam Jam's
Jam
like,
Jam was like that, yeah.
You said my name, I hate you."
Like, girl, it's life.
It's a game. Yeah,
It is a game.
yeah.
Um, okay, yeah, let's move on. We get into the groups. I had a little note here that Emily was also trying to get. Oh yeah, there was a scene where Emily was trying to gauge a D vote, and to Drew and Austin, and I don't think Drew and Austin played their cards very well.
No,
Uh,
they said that they tried to like gently say no, but it did not feel gentle. It felt like they weren't even interested in hearing it.
Yeah, it felt very shutting Emily down, and I mean, they don't really know Emily's whole history in the game, but Emily is not the person that I would want to shut down because as soon as Emily catches a feeling that she is not being trusted 100% or listened to 100%, she's going to find a way out, I feel like.
Yeah, if I were Emily after that conversation, I would be really hesitant to work with these people anymore
And
because
to
they
tell them
clearly
anything,
don't care about her interests or what is thinking. Like she was shut down for just like an idea, like they
hmm
just, yeah, I would not be comfortable working with them after that.
I feel like Austin and Drew have kind of stumbled into this position of power. I don't think they are necessarily playing to put themselves into a position of power, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, they're not great. Um, I mean, neither of them are great. I feel like Austin is better than Drew. But I feel like it just has happened. Both of them, I think, have gotten extremely lucky. I feel like Austin and Drew have stumbled into a position of power, and they don't really know necessarily what to do with that power. I don't think they're both. I don't think either of them are like 100% great at the game. Um, so it's interesting trying to see them navigate that because it's not really going well. I think they're trying to play the middle, which okay, this is what I wrote this down at some point. I wrote Austin and Drew can't have their cake and eat it too. I feel like they're trying to play the middle, which they admit they're trying to do, but we're at the final 9, final 8 now, and there's 4 of you, 2 of you in this duo. You can only play the middle for so long.
I don't think they have very good social games either. I
Yeah,
think they
I
can
don't.
kind of
Yeah.
hide in this core four alliance and get away with having bad social game and like bad delivery. Drew specifically, I think Drew has really just gotten lucky with his original tribe
Mm-hmm.
and alliance because otherwise he's not, I don't see Drew playing a game really at all. He just kind of goes with like he offers his opinion to the his little alliance, but like he's not really doing any of the work it feels like. And yeah, I feel like he more so than any of the other in the four have stumbled into this position of power.
Yeah, Drew has had some pretty bad moments this season. Um, he, I don't know. I feel like I'm seeing discourse online, and I try not to read too much between us recording and then us, like, because I'd like my opinions to be as my opinion as possible. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of discourse online that Drew has a weird winner edit, like, forming. Um, but I don't know. I just personally don't see it.
I hope
I
not.
just, he
I would
just,
honestly be annoyed if Drew won at this point over
he's
anyone
not very
else.
he's not very likable. Like I could not see even if it wasn't like even if he wasn't sitting at the end with doing fuck if even if he wasn't sitting at the end with Drew and D, like I couldn't see a situation where he's sitting at the maybe with Bruce. I feel like Bruce is the only exception. Where he's sitting next to anybody and he be more likable than them. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Like, I
No,
couldn't see a scenario with anybody other than Bruce where he's sitting at the end and he's able to out talk somebody.
I am also obviously they have very different personalities and like ways of playing the game, but I do kind of feel like Bruce and Drew are kind of playing similar games. It's just kind of how
Mm-hmm.
things lined up in the beginning. Like we think back to times when like Kendra wanted to work with Bruce and he's like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Drew did the exact same thing to Brando. Brando's like, I want to work together. Drew, no, I'm not going to work with you. Why? Like, he's just not playing a good game at all, especially on his own. His whole life in the game is because of his original alliances that he got lucky with.
And I will say, to play devil's advocate, that the pro to that being the case is that the people who have asked Drew directly, "Can I work with you?" and Drew said no, are out of the game.
That's true.
And so there is really nobody, like Brando is out of the game, Kendra's not out of the game. He's working with Emily. And so like really there is nobody to push back against it. And they're not, I mean Kendra is on the jury. I feel like if Brando had made the jury, that would have been bad for Drew.
Yes.
I think that would have been not a great case for him. But nobody is there really on the jury to be like, well, Drew kind of just like shut stuff down, and that's not really what you're supposed to do. So
I feel like
I
more
don't
they'll see
know.
like, oh, Drew wasn't the leader in that group.
I just don't see it. Like, I don't even think the edit is really portraying him as the leader. I don't see how
No.
they could be thinking Drew is the leader.
No.
I feel like it's very clear. The Austin and Dee are they're getting a very clear leader edit, I feel like, between the two of them.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't really see it. So, who knows? We'll have to wait to see how it plays out. But let's get into. We've been talking a lot about game and the standings. Let's get back to the plot of the episode.
Yeah, okay.
We're split. What was it? They got tree mail, and we're told that they had to split into 3 groups. They got to put themselves into each group. And so Drew, I think it was Drew, comes up with the idea of having one strong man, one strong woman, and then like one of the
This is a
nerdlings, one of
weakling.
the weaklings.
And he's like, I'm
So
not
it's
a strong man. So
exactly. So then they split up their groups that way to make it as fair as possible. So the groups are number 1, Drew, Jake, and Dee. Number 2, Austin, Katora, and Emily. And number 3, Julie, Bruce, and Kendra. And then we don't really know what this is about until we get to tribal. We get to the challenge where Jeff explains that the first 2 parts of the challenge are going to be competed as groups, with like whoever loses the first part of the challenge won't be able to compete in the second, and then whichever group wins the second challenge will then go on to an individual challenge where the 3 people in that winning group will compete for one immunity. And then whoever is the loser of the first challenge, all 3 of those people will lose their vote. I don't know what it is with Survivor production and trying their hardest to make me hate this season, but it will not work.
I know, and I like how they say, but they have a chance to get it back. No. I hate it.
Why are we taking away people's votes at the final 9? The final 9! We're not even in double digits anymore! I'm so beyond annoyed. Your vote is, we said this last episode, your vote is the most important thing you have in this game. The most important. Why are we taking 3 people's away? You're telling me the possibility is only 6 people are going to vote at the final 9 tribal? That is insane. That is terrible.
I think there were other ways that they could have like formulated a little punishment for losing. I don't know. I don't like that they keep jumping to taking people's votes away. Like, let's be more creative. We know you're the 5-minute crafts account. You can come up with, but like, we don't need to put more thought into things. Like, more than 5 minutes. Come up with a more creative idea that isn't just, oh, easy, vote gone.
If they wanted to do something spicy, I would have been maybe potentially fine with like splitting up the 3 from the 6, putting the 3 on the old Lulu tribe and not getting to talk about tribal before tribal.
That's what I was
And
thinking.
like maybe I just think it is blasphemous. I don't know what that word means. I don't even know if I just used it correctly.
No, I think that was a fine usage.
I think it's highway robbery.
For
I think
example.
it's absolutely diabolical. Me with my little thesaurus. I um oh my god, the fucking sun. I hate the taking away people's votes. I hate it. Why are we doing it? I don't think it's fun to watch. I think as an audience member, as like a fan, an actual like fan of the show, I think it's absolutely annoying. I think it's painful to watch. Thinking I cringe thinking about how production and Jeff thinking they're eating it up with all these little twists and thinking about how horrible they are. I'm like, you're not eating. The plate is full.
And
Crumbs and all.
it's just like it makes it not as interesting to watch because you're seeing these people who then have no power. They're just kind of there. Like they can't really be a part of the conversation because they have no stake in it. Like, yeah, Emily going to Drew and Austin and saying, "How about D instead?" It's like that's all she can do. She can't like I don't know, put her money where her mouth is and do anything about it.
And that's why your vote is so important because now you just have three nothings. We basically don't hear anything from Katora or Austin.
Emily.
Well, I guess we do hear from Austin because he ends up getting his vote back. We don't really hear anything from Katora this episode. We hear stuff from Emily before we find out that she loses her vote.
Mm-hmm.
They're just non-entities, and when you're at the final 9, I just can't like. In my head, it's just like, how do you think that this is okay? Like you're screwing 3 people over, and yes, you do give them the chance to get it back, but like that shouldn't. It's a stupid thing to be like. It's stupid to begin with. It shouldn't have to be. Oh, well, at least they have an option to try to get it back. They should just have it to begin with.
And the vote is so important, especially with the jury now who's going to have to make the decision on who wins. Like, how you vote really does impact that because it does say a lot about, like, your relationships and how people are perceiving your game. And that comes into play so often at tribal council is people talking about, like, oh, well, you backstabbed me and voted for me. Like, you did this. You voted this way. Like, it is a key part of the game.
And it's you're right in a situation where we get to the final we get to the final tribal council and it's like Emily, Katora, and Austin. Like let's just say they're the final 3. I feel like it's had multiple times where like Katora hasn't. I can't exactly remember, but it's I feel like Katora has been on the end of the stick where these things are falling on her.
Emily too.
Emily too, and it gets to the point where it's like, okay, well, Austin made all of these moves, and then Katora can't, like, Katora hasn't voted in X amount of tribals, or she hasn't had the ability to make the moves in X amount of tribals, right?
Yeah.
Either she's been in the position where she's one of the only people that can be voted for, or she's in the position where she doesn't have a vote. Like, things like this, you're actively taking away moments where people can be building their resume. And so
Absolutely.
now that is what's creating an unfair thing is what you said basically you get to the end and now like people are like, oh, Austin did all these great things, why didn't you do any great moves? Because I couldn't, because production kept interfering and taking away the core values of this game from me. The key things that I'm supposed to be able to do, I'm not able to do. I'm either vying for my survival because I'm one of 4 people that can be voted, or I don't have a vote and I literally can't do anything. I'm just chilling.
Yeah, that's a good point. It does turn into more of like you're just trying to get people to not vote for you rather than you're able to make moves to try and get other people voted out, like based on strategy. It just turns into like, please don't vote me. Like, yeah. I also think it kind of like hurts the core values of the game as like Survivor is a game where people every week vote each other out at tribal. The tribe has spoken. The tribe can't speak. Like, especially down to the final 9 and 2 people aren't voting, like potentially 3. That's not the tribe. They can't, that's...
No.
Yeah. No, it's so upsetting. And it would also be different if we weren't seeing this literally 2 weeks in a row.
Why? I guess I'm just not even okay with Bruce. Like, I feel bad for Bruce last week because he was the only person. That makes you such a target. If you're the only person, he's like, I mean, he was going to probably go home if he hadn't.
He's so lucky he won immunity.
Primarily not because he lost his vote. Like, I don't think that was a main reason, but it definitely helped.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it's a stupid twist, and production. I said this last week. I probably said this a bunch of times at this point this season. Production is trying so hard to get me to hate this season. If I was just looking on paper, the twists and the random ass shit that they're coming up with, I would be like, this season's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for the cast that they're having to put up with this bullshit, but I'm thankful that this is the cast that is being dealt this hand because I like at least they're likable. At least I'm able to like have fun with them and I'm able to root for them and they're taking it with a grain of salt. But I'm like this is terrible to watch. I'm like I can't. It's bad. It's just bad.
Yeah, it is.
So we end up finding out like we just talked about. We said Emily, Katora, and Austin are they're the first group to lose that first challenge, that initial challenge, and they end up losing their vote. It's the Julie, Kendra, and Bruce group that ends up making it to the final challenge, which I don't know why I was surprised at because
Wait.
Bruce and Julie did do well.
Oh, I understood it wrong. I heard Emily as Julie. Never mind. Keep going.
It's okay. Julie, Bruce, and Kendra make it to the end, and then they're having to do this challenge, which we spent a lot of time
Explaining
at this challenge explaining everything. I was like, this is like a lot of our episode time. I don't know what's going on, but it was crazy to watch because this is really crazy. Kendra was trying so hard, and I was watching with my family, my sibling and my mother, and my sibling was like, is it really that serious? Like, Kendra was holding on like her fingertips. I was like, this is crazy. Yeah, Bruce wins immunity again.
Yeah. I also think like how exact are the measurements is my question because like it honestly looked like the amount of like fingertip that Kendra had on the little wooden things, it looked so much less than what like Bruce and Julie had. Like Bruce was like this and I feel like Kendra was like
fully arms out,
fully just fingertips.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Like it just looked like he had way more, like he could spread his fingers when it looked like with Kendra she like could barely reach them. I don't know.
Probably measure the wingspans and not like the size of your hands because I'm sure your size of your hands has like a big part and like where you're able to grab. I don't know.
Challenges like that are always weird to me.
Twist was stupid. The challenge I was watching, I was like, this is not exciting at all. Like the first part of the challenge, they had to dig. What was it? They had to dig. What did they have to do before? Oh, the balance beams.
Oh, yeah.
There was just no, like, nothing was connected. I was like, these are just random obstacle courses, which I guess is Survivor, but I'm just like, they had to do 2 balance beams, and then they had to dig, and then they had to connect ropes.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had to throw a ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had to, I was like, this is...
It wasn't exciting.
It looked
like a very no, literally that's what I was thinking. It also seemed like a very not to get into their budget constantly, but it felt like so low budget and low creativity. Like there was nothing. Like I feel like some of the exciting parts of challenges are how like big they are or like even how simple they are that they can be when it comes down to when they do like the individual ones. Like you're like, oh my god, how did you think of that? Like it just looks so cool. This one looked like a child's playground.
I fully, like, when they were doing the ropes, like, all they were doing was, it wasn't even hard. They just had to, like, sit and connect the ropes.
Yeah.
I was like, is this it?
Yeah.
That's it. Is they're connected. And then Jeff was trying to make it exciting. He was like, you have to connect the ropes. You can't have any extra. You have to crisscross. You have to, I'm like, girl.
Yeah,
They'll cross enough bridge.
Kendra like dropped a couple and then reached down to get them, and he's like, Kendra's got that core strength or whatever, like good balance, Kendra. I'm like, no, it was only difficult because she like dropped them
Yeah,
and no one else did.
it was, yeah. So, challenge happens. Bruce wins immunity. Uh, I thought it was so after they send. Oh, they were playing for reward as well. I forgot to mention that. The winning tribe wins, and they get to go to the sanctuary to eat a rotisserie chicken. And I want like one singular rotisserie chicken.
No, I said no sides, no utensils, no cold bevs. Like,
It was just a rotisserie
dry.
chicken.
I
Dry
saw
as
them
hell.
drinking their water. Like, give them like lemonade. Something.
Give them give them a cold glass of something. Give them like crackers or like rice or like, I know they probably don't want to eat rice, but I'm like something to eat with the chicken.
Yeah. No, rice.
I'm like,
Oh, yeah, I guess maybe not rice, but like maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know, literally anything to go with it.
Something, some cheese. Like my favorite. I love a rotisserie chicken.
I thought of you when I
do
saw
rotisserie
that.
chicken. I get my favorite. I'll eat it with rice, but my favorite. I love a Triscuit, a black pepper Triscuit. Put some cream cheese on it, then the chicken, and then
A
so
little
good.
carb.
A little
Yeah.
carb. Yes.
No,
So
that
good.
was
I
upsetting.
do love a rotisserie chicken. One year for my birthday, all I wanted was a rotisserie chicken, and one of my friends got me one. It was so good. Anyway, that is to say, if I got that stupid ass reward, I would have been pissed the fuck off.
And that's coming from you who loves chicken.
I love chicken.
Yeah.
My favorite protein, favorite. I could eat chicken 1,000 different ways.
I just
And
feel
I
like
got
they
that
normally like have at least something else. Like,
like no, you're saying like a
drink.
drink utensils. You couldn't have given them a fork.
no. What?
I don't know. You made them eat with their dirty ass hands. Like I don't.
I know.
Yeah. Jeff asks Emily after. I was so annoyed with Jeff. I wrote, Jeff asks Emily, how does not having a vote change the game? And then I wrote, is it stupid questions hour? What the fuck? I hate you, Jeff Probst. Why, Jeff? Jeff says, how does not having a vote change the game? Are you dumb?
Did you just get here?
Did you just get here? Have you never seen the show Survivor before?
That's how it feels.
How does not having a vote change a game?
Honestly, this whole episode kind of felt like no one on the production team has ever watched a game of Survivor, an episode of Survivor before. The awful reward, the bad challenge, taking away votes. Like, what was this episode?
It was not. I fully was like, oh, all right, I guess. I don't know.
There's no such thing as a dumb question, Riley. All questions are good questions. Maybe someone else was also wondering that.
You've been hosting this show for 20 years, 45 seasons.
No, what if someone at home was also thinking that question? He just wanted to make sure that everyone was on the same page.
Then they shouldn't watch the show. I'm sorry
You
to
can't
gatekeep.
understand the basic premise of the show.
If you can't understand why not, if you can't understand if taking away the vote is a game changer,
Yeah.
go watch Big Brother.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. We get back to, let's see. Drew. Not Drew. Oh yeah, Drew, Dee, and Jake are gonna wait to talk until the power players get back. The three people that are at the rotisserie chicken. We have a little silly scene where Dee and Drew are making rice and then eat a lot of it.
Yeah.
So then Jake can't have some. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like I don't
I don't
care.
really care.
And then it cuts to the rotisserie chicken, and we just talked about it. We don't need to really go much more into detail, but I wrote this chicken, please. And Kendra walks up and is like, look how big that chicken is. And then there's like, when they were just showing the chicken on the table, I was like, okay, it looks a little plump. And then they like fully stood next to the chicken. I'm like, that is the smallest rotisserie chicken I've ever seen in my whole life.
Yeah, no, you're right. The first shot of it, I was like, that's a big chicken. And then it
And then
wasn't.
they actively started eating it, and I was like, no. Yeah.
Like, you couldn't even
We
cut
can-
it up for them. I'm sorry.
No.
I like can't get over this.
I'm like, that is so. Like, I just know they were dirty, and the chicken, and I know that chicken got stuck in their teeth, and like,
Yeah, maybe like
Oh.
chicken in a flosser.
yeah,
I mean, it'd
chicken
be
and a flosser.
more than what they have now.
True. Period. Um, Julie is. Oh, I thought Julie played this really well. Kendra, this is where Kendra starts bringing up Dee's name. And Kendra is asking Julie, like, how do you feel in your alliance? And Julie's like, I feel like I'm at the bottom, blah, blah, blah. Even though Julie fully knows that she's in a really good position with her group. I thought Julie played that really well.
I agree.
I feel like it was smart.
And she made Kendra feel heard. I feel
Yes,
like
which I
she
think is
didn't
really
shut
good.
her down, and she like really tried to connect with her. I thought she handled that conversation very well, better than Drew. Drew would have just been like, "No."
Yeah, Drew would have been like, I'm not giving you any information.
Yeah, that's how I would have said it.
Bruce here says that I think in a confessional, he says trouble lines are gone. But I'm like, if the Bella people are saying bye to trouble lines, they're just moving themselves to the bottom of the Reba. Like if you at this point, it was 4 at the time. Now it's only 3. The 4 of you aren't working together. Then like, why? I don't know. I feel like you're just handing it over to the Reba people. I don't know.
I think it's also really telling that Bruce is saying that tribal lines are gone when it is so obvious to everyone else. Like, everyone else, even if they're not in the core 4, they recognize the power that the core 4 has and that they need to work with them to get things, to get, like, people voted out. And Bruce just doesn't get it.
No. Bruce has literally been playing in Wonderland this whole season.
Yeah, Bruce Land.
Bruce Land!
He hit his head too hard.
He did. I feel like that's the culprit. We can always blame it back to him hitting his head. Oh God. Okay, bear with me here. We get to the puzzle to redeem their votes. It ends up being a little logic puzzle. They have a number line equals 100, and they have to figure out how to put like a plus minus minus. Sorry, two pluses and a minus.
Yeah.
They have to figure out how to properly order the numbers to equal 100. We find out that Emily is not good at crunching numbers.
It made me so sad. She was so defeated. Also, I want to say, I think it was not fair that they were only given 3 minutes to do it, and their only like scratch thing was a giant piece of chalk on a tiny chalkboard. Yes, give them like a paper and a pencil or something. Like the amount of time it took them to erase what they had done was crazy.
We find out. Okay, I found out. So my family watches Survivor. I don't watch with them because obviously I'm in college. Found out my mom is not an Emily fan. So I'm watching. This is the first time I'm watching with them. My sibling Rowan likes Emily. My mom does not like Emily, and so I wrote down some of her quotes during this scene.
Your mom's?
My mother's quotes from when Emily was having her breakdown over not being able to do mental math. I said, Emily admits to being bad at mental math, and my mom goes, "'Cause you're fake." And then my mom went on this whole spiel about how she's never met a financial analyst who's never been able to do mental math. And I was like, she was like, I work with people who do stats and stuff like that all the time, and they're all good at math. And I'm like, she's like, they work in spreadsheets, and I'm like, well, mom, if they work on spreadsheets will do the math for them. And my mom was like, no, you have to know how to do math. And I'm like, okay. And then my mother, unprompted, Emily said she feel like she wants to curl up into a ball and die, and my mom went, she should.
Brutal, Holly. Oh
I was
my
like, oh my
god.
god. That gagged me a bit for sure. I was like, mother, and she was like, well, why can't she do math? And I was like, and then Rowan can't do math, and so Rowan was like, okay, mom, well, what if that was me up there? And then my mom went, well, that's different because I love you. Girl. That is to say, shocker, Emily did not finish the logic puzzle. Neither did Katora. So they both officially lost their votes, but Austin was able to figure it out. And he got his vote back.
Good for him.
But then they go back to tribal, and he tells them that he actually did not get his vote back. Aw. But then he tells his group, I did get my vote back. Yay.
I'm so good at math, guys.
He said, guys, I'm so good at math. And then D said, I know you'd be able. Oh my god, talking about D, her teeth are unnaturally white.
Okay, I also noticed that this episode, does she have like veneers?
She has to.
Have you seen the veneer check lady on TikTok?
No.
I'll have to send her to you. I'm obsessed. Dr. Sarah, Harvard DMD, here to do another veneer check on celebrities. She does it on celebrities. We have to
send her a picture, invite her onto the podcast.
Yeah.
No, stop. We have her Discord in.
Yeah.
Hey, we're like, hey, we have some people we need you to check. Does this lady have veneers?
No, because they look like veneers.
Her teeth are white.
And they're too perfect. They look
too perfect.
And they're like, no.
Which is okay. D, if you're watching this, veneers are great. My dad has veneers.
Yeah. But like I feel like you can I feel like
no,
there's
he doesn't.
No.
I don't know there's an adult in my life that has veneers. My dad doesn't. He had braces. He had adult braces.
Those are different. My dad went to the dentist once. I think he has veneers.
He has adult braces, and in all of his wedding pictures with my mom, they're now divorced. Maybe that's why they got divorced. Oh, all the wedding pictures, my dad, you can see his braces.
Ask Holly how she feels. She'll give you a brutally honest answer.
She will. She'll say, "I hope he curls up in a ball and dies." JK.
Is your dad good at math?
He's a little cookie. He's a little smart cookie. I don't know math. He's not from here. Math is the same everywhere.
You have to learn math like a language.
Okay. Sorry, I don't think I said this. My notes are on my phone. That's why I keep checking my phone.
No, you're just not interested in this episode.
I've just been texting. Yeah. What's next? Yeah, Austin gives Julie one of his idols because I think this was before. I don't even think I mentioned this, but when they originally split into 3 groups, Austin had given Julie one of his idols, just in case they got split up for some reason, and Julie was definitely on the minority in her group, and so to be safe, he gave Julie his vote, or his idol, one of his idols. And at this point in the episode, this was when Julie was like, I kind of want to move, but nobody wants to make it with me on my Reba, my core 4. So I was like, I want her to use that idol to get one of the core 4 out so bad, or at least to get Jake out or something.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been really juicy, I feel like. This is what I wrote. Yeah, Reba wants to play the middle so bad, but there's no real middle anymore. I mean, it's the final 9 and there's 4 of them. That's literally half the tribe.
Yeah.
Like, you're not, baby, you're the majority, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Julie feels like she put the work to get Kendra and Bruce, but that ultimately means nothing because they don't end up doing that. So boo hoo, Julie. Um, Kendra. I'm just explaining. This is some of the gameplay before Tribal. Kendra is going after D. D's paranoid. And Austin and Drew are on. Wait, has Austin and Drew on her side? On D's side, maybe. Julie is seeing the realities of D's paranoia. D is definitely having tunnel vision a little bit, which I think is justified. I feel like if somebody says my name, like I would be concerned as well. But I think you have to understand the whole context of the situation. Like
Yes.
I would keep that in the back of my mind. Like if I was D, I'd be like, okay, Kendra has said my name. That's staying right here, but I can't let it take up the whole brain. Like it needs to just be something I'm consistently thinking about. Oh my god,
And
consistently thinking about.
the dynamic is so much in us versus them, like the core four versus everyone else at the moment.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense. Like it was going to be one of you four. Like, and in that moment, it seemed like to Kendra, which I don't even think Kendra was really putting that much thought into who she was picking. It obviously wasn't going to be Julie because she was talking with Julie about it, and like
Yeah.
it was kind of just circumstantial. And yeah, I just think Dee's not thinking about this clearly.
I think it's really interesting, a little 180 from this, that uh none of the people, like Katura and Emily, I guess neither, since there's only two. Katura and Emily were never really on the table for not having their votes. I feel like those, it might just be too easy. It might be low hanging fruit. But I
Did you
feel
see
like,
that?
yeah, was that lightning?
No, I have no idea.
That was strange. They might be low hanging fruit, but I feel like Katura and Emily would have been like who I would like naturally gear towards because they don't have a vote.
If you were Kendra?
If I was anybody, like if
I just
like
I think I would want Emily out over Katura.
especially if I'm Drew or Austin, like I think I would have had a red flag had Emily come up to me and propose D, and then if their response being the way it was, like I would have left that conversation being like fuck, like now Emily's gonna be like trepidatious on us.
Okay, Mr. Big Words.
I have no idea what that word means. I don't even know if I used it correctly.
No, I agree with you. I just don't I at my core don't understand the Kendra Jake all of like that.
The push to get Jake out, I think it's because they're like Jake. Nobody knows what Jake is doing.
But Jake
He's
doesn't know
so-
what Jake's doing.
Just don't give Jake power. I think it's maybe because they're concerned he might have an idol, but like that's not real. Don't let that. Don't be paranoid.
No, and they were like, "Oh, it's concerning that he looks for idols out in the open like that." Like, then keep an eye on him when he's doing it.
Buddy system it. I don't know what to
If
tell
you
y'all.
four are so secure, why aren't one of you like hanging out with Jake more to make sure he
Yeah.
doesn't get an idol? Or like, I feel like that information would not be hard to get out of Jake because he says immediately what he's thinking at all times. Like, I just don't think he's as much of this like mysterious character as they're thinking he is.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like they're putting too much into the Jake. He's like a manic pixie dream girl. Like nobody really knows where his head's at. Like
I have seen a bunch of TikTok edits of Jake, especially after
the girlies are loving Jake this season.
yeah, especially after last tribal last week.
People are calling him baby girl.
Yeah, they are.
Good for him. We should get him on the pod.
I feel like he would do it.
You know who would come on the pod? I feel like if we'd ask
Who?
Tiffany Seeley.
Okay, can you reach out?
Did I?
Yeah.
Maybe for the finale.
No, wait. Okay, I was actually thinking about this. I think we need to figure out how to get more people on between now and the finale. Maybe she could come on for like a little bit in the finale, but I do think it should be like mostly our conversation. Because like how much is she gonna add? She hasn't like heard the build up all season. Unless she's listening, one of our listeners.
I think she is. She's one of our many
Should we
listeners.
every week start sending her DMs that are just links to the podcast? Or we make like, have you seen on TikTok people making group chats on Instagram with like a celebrity in it?
Just talking in it. The problem is Tiffany Seeley is not a celebrity. She she is the one that checks. Let's see how many followers she has. Tiffany has 8,000 followers. The way that she would fully see us talking in DMs with her.
Okay, we have to reach out.
Her last post was on September 23rd.
No, but she's active on her stories.
Yeah. Oh, she has nothing posted. She's probably really busy with Thanksgiving today.
Yeah, maybe today's not a good day. She's probably with her family.
Yeah, she's probably, yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Anyway, that's basically the pre-jury stuff, or pre-tribal stuff, I should say. I feel like we're starting to see cracks in Dean Julie. It's definitely not, the core four is not as core or four as they're made out to be. I really think Julie is going for the better, try to separate herself, and I'm crossing my fingers that it's going to work, because I think there's a really compelling story to be had there for whichever one of them does break. But I think of the four of them, Julie at this point is the one that is most likely to break. And I think it could be if she's able to make something from it, she could have a very compelling winning story if she is able to successfully manage that.
I'm getting nervous about what these kind of final storylines are going to be as they dwindle down in numbers. Like, I'm still hoping that we get a big Katura Bruce blow up and that the whole pre-merge wasn't for nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm also hoping all of this Julie stuff that we're starting to see like actually turns into something. I'm gonna be really mad if like at whatever point, if let's say even if Bruce and Katara make it to the end game, like I really hope that we get something for having to sit through so much of their just like drama.
Yeah, I hope so as well. We've seen a lot of storylines that have yet to finish. I feel like I'm really thankful for the producers. The way that the season has been edited has been really nice. Most of it. We really have a good sense of everybody in the final 8. Like, we have a good idea of like who each of these people are, which is really good, because even comparing the last 4 seasons, there have been people in the final where we just knew nothing about them. So I feel like everybody's been very evenly edited, which is nice. But you're right, there is room for concern, because it's like, okay, well, how are we going to wrap this up? Where's to go? So, I agree. We get into tribal. I mean, nothing really exciting happens. We focus a lot of tribal time on it. Kelly. A lot. I don't remember a tribal happening where we focus so heavily on the results of the tribal before.
Yeah, and it's like they've all had time to talk about it. Just because you weren't there in those conversations, Jeff, does not mean that they didn't happen. Like, I'm pretty sure everyone is fully on the same page about what happened, or like they understand we don't need to keep rehashing this. Like, especially with her sitting there, she looked so uncomfortable. She's like, "Can you guys just like?"
She looked devastated. Like she looked so unhappy, which justifiably so. But I felt really bad, because it's just like all these people talking basically BS, because Kelly can be honest. The people in the game can't be fully honest. And who's to say what they're saying is like truthful or whatever? Like, they're still playing a game at the end of the day, and they're all still vying for Kelly's vote.
Yes, I don't understand what the point of like 75% of tribal was. Like, it's not relevant. It already happened. Like, they're still playing the game. The game didn't stop when Kelly got voted out. You know, like, they've had a lot of time, not a lot of time, but they've had time since then. Like, come on.
Jeff personally says he's been to every single tribal council, and Cowley's blindside is one of the most devastating blindsides that the show has seen.
Obviously it was hard for Kelly to be blindsided, like, just for her personally, but I don't fully agree. it wasn't like this big blow up blindside that like fully, because if Kelly were not in the majority, I just don't think she had as much power.
That's the thing. You're 100% right on that because it's like it's not like Kelly like had all the power.
No, it's not like she was
If
running the game. Kelly was also
exact.
trying to just scramble to get her little ragtag group together against
Mhm.
the four. Like
Mhm.
she was trying she wasn't this like big game person, like I don't know. I just
Yeah,
don't
no,
get
you're right.
it.
It's not like she definitely had some power within like the Bello group, but that group was not the majority group, and it's not like they were running the game.
And there
Bello
was a
has been
lot of
divided.
conflict.
Lot of conflict. Bello has been divided. It would have been different if the blindside was on like an Austin or a D. Last episode,
Mhm.
that would have been truly gaggy. That would have been a true. I mean, like it was a true blindside because Kelly didn't expect it to happen. Like we, as an audience, didn't 100% expect it to happen. So yes, it was a good blindside, but it like she didn't really hold a ton of power or anything. So you're right. Your point, I think, is valid.
Thank you.
Yes. Um, Jeff. Oh, I wrote Drew talks. Drew talks in analogies, and Jeff gets off to that.
Yeah.
He does. Jeff loves analogies, and Drew keeps it going. And I hate Drew. I hate analogies. That's
You
that.
hate Jeff.
I
You've already
Jeff
said
is our Jeff is our podcast peer. I would never badmouth him.
okay. Even though I'm pretty sure
Uh,
you did say that you hate Jeff Probst earlier. Or something along those lines. Maybe those weren't your. Sorry, I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but
no, I don't think. I think I did say that.
okay.
So with that, basically, oh yeah, Drew. I did like see another bad move by Drew. Drew is just over talking
Yeah.
to the point where he's alluding that one of the three people that lost their vote did get their vote back.
I know, and Kendra's immediately like,
Kendra turns around and looks at Austin and goes, "Did you get your vote back?" And Austin's like, "No." And she's like, "Well, Drew is basically talking like somebody did get their vote back, so I don't know."
Drew's stupid.
Drew is stupid. And shit like that. I'm like, I feel like I could potentially, like, I could see an argument to Drew getting, like, because he is having some very positive coverage, is what I will give Drew, is I feel like that, like, his confessionals and, like, he's getting positive coverage, but it's also, like, at the end of the day, I'm like, he's not smart. Like, the actual moves he's making are not good moves. So
No.
I don't see how he's going to be rewarded at the end of the day. But that's basically it.
Mm-hmm.
Kendra gets voted out. I did see a tweet that said they thought it was really poetic that Kendra, one of the loudest people in the game, one of the most animated people in the game, decided to leave in silence.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. She was so much more upset when Kelly got voted out than she was for herself.
Yeah. It seems like it's a little bit of a steamroll happening. I'm hoping next week shakes it up. I hope we get a normal. I don't think we've had a normal merge vote yet. I think there's always been some sort of stipulation. So I'm ready. I hope next week I hope that at the final 8 we finally get a normal vote. The final 8. Please. Please. That's basically it. That's the episode.
That was the episode. Once again, this wasn't my favorite episode.
I agree.
I think, honestly, there was a lot of excitement last week with the auction coming back, but I feel like we've kind of hit like a little down shift in the episodes and like what's happening. And like the only exciting thing that really last episode besides the auction was like Kelly getting voted out. So I'm hoping they start building the momentum into the end.
Yeah,
That's my
I think
Christmas wish.
that the trailer for next week's episode seemed a little exciting. I saw some tears.
Oh, I didn't watch it.
So I think Julie was crying.
Oh, no, I did see that. Yeah.
So I'm hoping it'll get spiced up a little bit. It seemed like there was some fighting. It seemed like Drew's getting a little power hungry. So we'll have to see, but I'm hoping it spices it up a little bit.
Me too.
Well, that's basically that's it for our Survivor 45 episode. What was this, episode 10? Episode 9? Episode 9 coverage. If you liked what you listened to here, please like, comment, and subscribe on the Making Fire podcast. And make sure you follow us on our socials, Twitter, TikTok, and Tumblr. Twitter, TikTok,
Instagram.
At
Do you
Making
have a
Fire.
secret Making Fire Pod Tumblr that I don't know about?
No. I was like the tease. TikTok, Tumblr. Nope. TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Nope. TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Follow us at Making Fire Pod. We have some great content. And yeah, see you next week with episode 10, final 8, coming to a close here. We're on the home stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Can you believe we've been doing this for 9 weeks? A little over 9 weeks because we had
this is episode 11 for us.
11. Yeah. Crazy.
I know.
Well, thank you all for watching. See you next week with more Survivor 45 coverage. I can't wait to see how this turns out.
Bye.